I've gotten to dive into my passion, which is bourbon. Love everything else about Bardstown, but bourbon is kind of where my heart is. So now I get to work with our 9 valued partner distilleries on a daily basis to kind of help drive the bourbon industry forward here in Bardstown and Nelson County.
With a solid background in the tourism industry, Sam Lacy was the perfect choice as the first full-time executive director of the Bourbon Capital Alliance, a position he calls his dream job.
Bardstown was built on bourbon going back to the 1700s. To be able to work on a daily basis with these both historic and modern distilleries is really special for me. And I want to make the point that this only works because our distilleries work so well together.
Shortly after accepting the full-time position at the Bourbon Capital Alliance, Sam met Jeff Hopmeyer, founder of the Brindiamo Group, one of the largest bulk bourbon and whiskey suppliers in the world.
I first met Jeff at the Bardstown Bourbon Company bottling facility opening. Kim Houston, our economic development director, brought me over and introduced me. And so Jeff and I spoke just briefly that day, and we set up a call for the following week. And I mean, keep in mind, I had just started this role full time, and he laid on me, I want to give you some money. I like what you're doing. I'd like to help you all out. And I said, all right, Jeff, let me have some conversations and we'll figure out something really cool. For that type of investment, I want to figure out the right opportunity.
After a few months of discussion, Sam proposed an idea for the Brindiamo sponsorship.
So I walked up and good to see you again, Jeff. We need a dedicated space for the Bourbon Capital Guild and a dedicated classroom space for the Bourbon Capital Academy. And before I could even finish, he said, I love it, done. Just put the Brindiamo name on it and you got it.
Brindiamo made an initial $100,000 investment with the Bourbon Capital Guild and then added another $50,000 to that to build out this Brindiamo Penthouse in Bardstown, Kentucky, really because we wanted to be a participant in all these great things that are happening in Bardstown, in the bourbon business.
It starts with education, right? It's not just about tasting the bourbon and enjoying the bourbon, which we do. Don't get me wrong, we do. But we learn about it too. We learn about all of the distilleries and what they're doing differently and how they're pushing the boundaries of making bourbon and making whiskey. And I think it makes it so much more interesting and expands our knowledge and our relationships and makes us better.
Sitting here in the Brindiamo Penthouse, and when you start speaking about education, it gets me very energized and jazzed up, to be honest, because coming from a family that has a long line of history, I've always thought and heard in school, right, knowledge is power. So to me, when knowledge is involved and education is involved, you need a place where people can gather, feel comfortable about that education, and feel that it is a place of learning. So what Jeff has done in his commitment, not only to this penthouse and to the academy and the guild, but to bourbon as a whole, to me, again, it shows another person has passion for this industry and passion to share what this industry can offer to others.
We want to help pass education on to all these other people that come up and visit and teach them about bourbon and be able to have a space that all these things can happen in. And that's why we did it, really to promote bourbon on a much more global scale, coming from Kentucky, coming from Bardstown.
So here in Spalding Hall, this is one of our most historic buildings right in downtown Bardstown. And to be able to take this $150,000 investment from Jeff Hopmeyer and the Brindiamo Group and use it to the betterment of this incredibly historic building is really special for a Bardstown native. Means a lot to me, means a lot to our community.
The Brindiamo Penthouse will officially open at the National Bourbon Day celebration in June 2023.
Really looking forward to the next few months here, seeing this place come to life, it's going to be really special.